Greetings. This is Steve Joel, Superintendent of Lincoln Public Schools, coming to you from the Ted Sorensen Theater, which is located on the campus, or actually inside the school at Lincoln High School. Just a beautiful renovation. One of the projects that was accomplished by the school district a number of years ago, and quite frankly, all of our theaters are just breathtakingly beautiful. Today's show is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot about what the role of the fine arts in the lives of our children and how they utilize creative expression to grow and develop and learn more about themselves and their surroundings. So we've got an exciting program put together for you. Prior to that, though, I'd like to give you just a quick update on things that are happening with Lincoln Public Schools. First, I'll tell you that it's testing time. And if you get children in school or grandchildren in school, you know that it's a fairly stressful time for students and teachers and parents. And we just so appreciate everybody's time and attention to something that's very, very important, not only for the individual student, but also for the school, class, the school, and the district as a whole. And, you know, those when the report cards announced in October, you know, we get a good look at how we've done, and we always take great pride in those results. We are planning for next year. That's an ongoing process. Budget is a big thing with us this year. We're currently involved in legislation to make our case as a growing school district that levies at the maximum, that is a low spender, comparatively speaking, should be treated favorably with the school funding formula. That's always a bit of an argument or a battle or a philosophical difference of opinion, but we feel pretty fortunate that we've been able to continue to grow. And our valuation has not really kept up with our growth. So we're hoping to be able to expand some staff and accommodate all the new students coming in the system. Speaking of new students, we've been looking at the next decade's projections. We are projecting that we will, on average, grow 500 students per year beginning next year and for the next 9 years or 10 years. And that's going to put a lot of stress on the school system. And quite frankly, we're feeling that stress already, as every year we've had significant growth, except for last year because of the kindergarten rollback age. So where's the growth coming from? Well, we're trying to figure that out ourselves, but we're expecting 700 new students next year. And just to put it in context for you, we have been graduating 2,500 students out of each senior class. That'll soon be replaced by 3,000 and upwards. So, you know, we know that that we have to be on top of the growth. Consequently, I put together a superintendent's facility advisory committee. Approximately 90 people from our staff and the community. The outpouring of support and willingness to serve has been absolutely phenomenal. But this group is going to be charged with the responsibility of helping us identify what the next 10 years worth of needs are. Interesting, the first meeting we had, we tried to boil the discussion down, again, thinking about perspectives from all different walks of life in Lincoln, try to boil out those perspectives down to overarching themes, and we came up with security and safety, no secret to anybody listening to this, technology, which is a very, very big thing for us going forward, something that's very, very costly, flexible learning space for students that don't learn in normal classrooms very well, and as you know, we've been dealing with an awful lot of that the last couple of years, and then space for growth. And we know that, you know, we've got a couple of areas of the city that are kind of bursting at the seams. The southeast part of the city, for sure, you know, probably could argue an elementary school and a middle school if the community was supportive of that. And then if we look at the northwest part of the city, we're getting some pretty tough projections there about some significant growth that's forthcoming. So it's nice to be in a community and a school district that's growing rapidly, but certainly it causes us to do quite a bit of planning. This is also hiring season for Lincoln Public Schools, and you know we're getting ready to say goodbye to folks that have committed or dedicated most of their adult career to our children and our school district, and you know we're always sad to see them leave. We're always excited to see the folks that come in to replace them, and this year will be no different. On the superintendent's executive team, this will be a year where we're replacing two folks that have just done a tremendous job for Lincoln. Mark Shepard, the director of business, is going to become the new superintendent of Fremont, and he's going to be replaced by Dr. Liz Standish from Omaha Public Schools. who's performing in a similar role. And then Dr. Biggs, after just a stellar career with Lincoln Public, is retiring. And the good news for us is she's going over to Nebraska Wesleyan University to work with students that want to become educators. So we're excited for her, and want to thank both of them for their commitment. Of course, Dr. Stavum is completing her first year. All of that makes me the senior member of the executive team, and there's a lot of nervousness about that. So we're looking forward to that. Principals, we haven't had to hire as many this year as we have in years past. But again, we feel very good about the talent that we're able to attract. And then, of course, teachers. We'll have close to 200 vacancies this year by the time it's all said and done. And again, we want to say thank you to the folks that are departing LPS and put out the welcome mat for those that are coming in. So really, that's about it. We've just got, as we head to the summer, summer's a big time for planning. June, it used to be 3 reasons you went into teaching: June, July, and August. It doesn't hold true anymore. June is a heavy professional development day, and certainly a day that, we're going to be, a month that we're going to be spending a lot of time thinking about next year and bringing our skill set up to standard. July's move-in day for LPSDO, and what a beautiful building we've been able to erect. We're excited about it. I want to say thank you to all the LPSDO staff who have just really cut through some difficult water in order to be able to hold the system together and function as a team, even though we've been separated by a number of miles. And it hasn't been the best logistically, but professional people make the best out of difficult circumstances, and LPSDO staff have definitely shined the light on that. So that move-in begins July 1. Actually, July 5th, we're going to move in phases. Third floor is going to come in the first week, and followed by the second floor and the first floor. We'll have some public invitations for folks to see what it is that we're moving into. It's a corporate office building, and we're excited about the business partners, the retail partners that are going to be there. And quite frankly, as I've been speaking publicly about the LPSD opening, I always get the question, when is Whole Foods going to open? So I know that that's near and dear on a lot of people's hearts and minds. So that's it for the update. For the most part, we'll see you next year. We'll look forward to, again, just another great year of trying to create connections with our community. But for now, let's get the show on the road. One of the programs that we're really proud of in Lincoln Public Schools is dramatic arts and theater arts, and what we're going to see here in Lincoln High and have an opportunity to meet some of the folks that are responsible for directing student work, and ultimately some of the students themselves, is really going to be of interest to folks that are listening today. I have with me for the first segment Justin Holbein and Molly Thomas, who are the co-directors of this year's show. It's called Comedy of Errors, which kind of reminds me of the last 2 weeks of my work, but it's a piece that most people know of. It's a difficult piece in a lot of ways, but it's also one that I'm sure it provides just an enriching experience for students. So, Justin, let's start with you. Why'd you pick Comedy of Errors?
Every other year we do a Shakespeare show. For the spring play, we do a Shakespeare production, and then the following year we do like a classic. And so for my first attempt at a Shakespeare play with my high school students, I wanted to do something that was fun to do, was enjoyable to do, not too heavy, and just kind of ease myself into it, being my first year here directing the theater and working with the students. And so I thought the Comedy of Errors, if we made some errors, would work as comedy.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense. So how many students are involved in a production like this?
Well, for this production, we have over 20 actors and then probably another 20 technicians, so we have around 40 to 50 students involved with this production. But in Miss Thomas's productions, those have been approaching 80 to almost 100 students.
Is it competitive in terms of getting a part?
We're a working theater, and so auditions are important, and the idea of trying to be inclusive to every student as we possibly can and find a role for everyone, whether it be in tech or whether it be on the stage, is vitally important to our program. And so we try and find opportunities for each student to succeed. Now, yes, audition process is like you would find at any other theater. Certain students fit certain roles, but each student is given a fair evaluation, and we try to put the best kids on the stage.
Ms. Thomas, why is this important for students as part of their educational opportunities?
Arts is such an important factor. It's been proven that a student who participates for 4 years in the arts, their SAT scores can go up 100 points. And a program like this is so hard because it's very inclusive. It gives so many kids a different opportunities, whether on stage or backstage. They can always find some place for their talents.
What's your background?
Theater and English. I've been with LPS for 6 years, and I've been doing theater since I was in high school.
What show did you direct last time?
My last show was Seussical the Musical, and before that I directed To Kill a Mockingbird.
I'm going to ask the students this, but let me ask you as the sponsors. Kids are busy today. Yeah. I'm guessing this adds a bunch to their time and their schedule. How do they manage?
I think they manage like most adults do. They start to learn how to manage their time. They understand that education is important, and one of the primary tenets of our theater program is education will always come first, that their studies and their ability to be in school and succeed in their educational opportunities comes first, primary to us. But once they can grasp the time that it takes to get their studies under control and attend class and do those things, then they understand that the opportunity to really succeed in theater and put their whole heart into it is really like the cherry on top of their educational pie.
What you said, Ms. Thomas, about ACT and SAT scores, I think the research definitely backs that up. There's no question that the fine arts are very, very supportive of that. What are the other kinds of things that kids get from being in theater?
They learn dedication, they learn commitment, they learn they get a sense of creativity, and that can be applied to science and math and all other aspects of their world. There's a confidence that they get group building skills. I can go on and on.
And memories.
And memories. Very much memories.
Okay, so tomorrow night is opening night.
Tomorrow night is opening night.
Are you nervous?
I am nervous. I was nervous a week and a half ago, and last night they didn't let me down, so my nerves went from up here, now we're about here, and if we can make it through dress today, they might go a little lower, but we'll see what happens. It's theater.
Okay, you guys have been around for a long time. It's my observation that kind of like orchestra and band, things look chaotic just before you go on stage. What is it? Is it the curtain? What causes the change?
The change from before to now?
Yeah, the change from being nervous and things not going right, Murphy's Law, to, wow, that was a stellar production.
The nerves never end all the way through the production, but it's watching the kids and watching them completely commit and being wholeheartedly and knowing and being proud of what they do. That's when it becomes a stellar production, when they take ownership and pride in what they're doing.
Do you sleep better after tomorrow night, or do you have to wait till they're all over with?
I'll sleep better when strike is done on Saturday evening.
Okay, sounds good. What about cast parties? Are those still like they were when I was in high school?
We have our parent booster. We have a great parent booster group who supports us, and they help organize cast parties and keeping it a fun, safe environment for them to be in.
Again, making memories. Anything you'd like to add before we talk to some of the students?
I'm so proud of our theater department, and working with Molly Thomas has been a joy. Our kids really respond well to what we're trying to do, and we are working educational theater, and we intend to keep it that way for years to come.
Well, and I want to thank you guys for your professional commitment to our kids. This is definitely changing life trajectories and providing positive influences for kids. So break a leg. Have a great show.
Okay, thank you.
We are a school, and one of the highlights of being in a school is being around kids that attend school. We have 3 students with us today that I'm going to ask to introduce themselves and tell us your name, tell us what year in school you are, and then tell us why you decided to get involved with theatric arts.
All right, well, my name is Emily Jobson. I'm a freshman at Lincoln High, and I've always loved theater from a very young age. My parents were involved in theater, and I just loved the Lincoln High atmosphere as soon as I, witnessed it for the first time, and I automatically wanted to be a part of it.
Awesome.
My name is Amy Brant. I'm a junior at Lincoln High School, and originally I was into athletics, and then I took a chance and auditioned for the fall show, even though I had a really bad stage fright, and I felt so much more at home and that I could be myself here, and I created a huge family, and I just didn't want to leave.
You were one of my students in junior achievement. You didn't have any stage fright in that class, as I recall.
I'm Emma Fisher, and I'm also a junior. And initially, I wasn't planning on doing theater. I had signed up for speech because my mom did speech, but I wasn't intending on doing plays or anything. And my friend Abby convinced me to audition for the fall show my freshman year, and I did, and I was really nervous. But I'm glad because this is now my 12th main stage show at Lincoln High.
So tell us, what makes this fun? What makes this good for you in terms of your development as a student? And then tell us what role you play with the production.
Well, I'm the attendant to the Duchess in Comedy of Errors. There's so many different things about theater that I love. Obviously, the performance, the thrill of getting on stage and just putting everything that you have out there for people to see. But also what happens backstage, with friends and even people that you're not super, super buddy close to. Everyone is just such a great family here, and it's an awesome atmosphere.
Well, I played Romeo of Ephesus in the Comedy of Errors, and I know one thing I really like about being in theater here is that after I've been working all day at school, it's nice to come here and just kind of blow off steam, I guess, especially because I get to be so goofy in this show. So it just kind of feels nice to not have to be worried about being serious the whole time.
I am on the makeup crew. I am not acting for this show. But what I love about theater is I love the ability for me to transform myself and become someone else and portray what my character is to the audience. And I love doing makeup crew as tech because I love getting to make someone look completely different than themselves and make them a believable looking character.
Can you do that for me? Can you help me?
See, I don't
Probably
need
not,
any.
huh?
You don't need any. You're perfect.
Oh, thank you. You can graduate early. Okay, so here's another question for you. When I was your age, I ran away from Shakespeare because it was really difficult stuff. So how hard is it?
In my freshman year, we read Romeo and Juliet, and then last year we read Julius Caesar. And so I'm also in Nebraska Girls Shakespeare Company. So I've been around it enough that it's slowly starting to get easier and I can appreciate it more. But honestly, initially I was like, oh my God, this is so hard. I don't know if I could do this. But I appreciate it now. I mean, it comes with practice, so.
It's classic stuff.
I think just like with athletes, once they get good, they want to start challenging themselves and pushing themselves to go farther. And I think that's the same for an actor. You get so used to just basic scenes. Oh, how are you today? Oh, I'm fine. But with Shakespeare, it's such a challenge and it's such a thrill when you finally get that click and you're like, oh, I got this. And you finally understand everything. And I love that push that I'm able to give myself with Shakespeare.
Tomorrow's the opening. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being incredibly nervous, I won't get a lick of sleep tonight, and 1 being piece of cake, I can't wait to go. What's your nervousness level?
I'm at about a 6 right now because what I'm doing for makeup is I'm trying to make the maid appear to be stout. And I've never made someone look stout, so I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible and going along with their natural lines and features. And so I'm a little bit nervous that it won't look as well as I want it to, but I have faith that I could probably do it.
It's going to look great.
I would say I'm probably at about an 8. And now this isn't due to lack of preparation or anything. We've been working really, really hard, but sometimes things go wrong. People drop lines, and it's a completely different ball game with Shakespeare because if someone misses something, you can't ad-lib it. You can't. If someone misses an entrance, you have to, it's hard because, you know, who can write Shakespeare off the top of their head? I know I can't. So you're really heavily relying on the other people on stage. So I'm a little nervous.
I'd say I'm at a 5 right now, not completely relaxed, but not freaking out. And usually my nervousness comes right as I'm about to go on stage, you know, oh my goodness, I think I've just forgotten every single part of my blocking. But then, you know, when you get on stage and you start it and you feel that rush from the audience, you're just, okay, everything is great, I know exactly what I'm doing, and then it's a 0 again, so.
But they still have somebody off to the side, right, that reads you or tells you what you're supposed to say when you go blank, don't they? Is that, or is there a new technology for that? There was when I was at school. That doesn't exist.
Nope. No. If you're pretty much on your own. You gotta, you know, you work hard, and it's your responsibility. It's your job. That's why you're here. So.
You guys are going to do wonderful. Thanks for taking time to talk to the audience. They're going to love this segment of the show. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more students that have taken time to be with us today, let's start with introductions and your name, and then tell us what role you're going to play in this great production that begins tomorrow.
I'm Rosa Guerra. I'm a freshman at Lincoln High, and I'm playing an attendant to the Duchess.
I'm Paul Shack. I'm a sophomore. I am prop master and on the makeup crew.
I'm Avinash Nuka. I am doing technical work for the show, and yeah, I'm just doing technical.
I'm Deanna Nelson, and I'm the sound technician.
What year in school?
I'm a sophomore.
Okay, so, you know, budgets are tight, and sometimes districts around the country, not in Lincoln, have to make tough decisions, and quite often the debate is, you know, is this a program that schools and communities can afford? What would you say to somebody that might be on that side of the budget equation, thinking it costs a lot of money, takes a lot of time, kids ought to be doing reading, writing, and math?
All right. Theater is just as important as sports. It gives a place not only where you can do something to express yourself, but it's a community where you can find people that accept you and will support you. And it also, studies show, proves your grades, makes you more likely to get into college. And if you can find something you love while doing it, then fantastic.
I think theater is an amazing outlet for kids because, you know, during the day it's really stressful and, you know, you're doing work all the time. And then kids come to theater and they have that, you know, even just hour or 2 hours of, you know, just playing around with each other, doing scenes, all that type of stuff. I think it helps improve kids in school because they have that outlet that they can do. And I think it's really great.
I would say that theater is sort of my getaway because I'm sort of like I'm a full-time student, and so I'm like always focused on my schoolwork. And then when I come to theater, it's sort of like, okay, you can relax, you know what you're doing. It's sort of my safe haven.
For me, tech was like my one and only getaway from all my types of troubles that I had at home, schoolwork, everything. And it was introduced to me by my friends, and like other people, they found it as a safe haven, like Deanna said. And so, like for everybody else, I feel it can be a safe haven for them too.
Okay, so you guys are describing this as a relaxing, fun experience. Now, I just heard from some students that were giving me their nervousness level. I mean, what's relaxing about that?
It's not so much as relaxing, because at times you freak out, you stress, you yell at each other, but it's what you love, and when you're doing what you love, it doesn't seem the same kind of stressful because you're choosing it and you're doing what you like to do.
Anybody else?
Like as a kid, I loved building stuff. So like the set behind us, it's just a way for me to get away from all that type of stuff, because building is just one of my passions, and I love what we do, and we don't get a chance like this anywhere else.
So on the scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being, you know, you're not gonna sleep at all tonight, to 1 being a piece of cake, where would you put yourself?
I think that I'm at like a 7 right now, but I know once the show, because it's almost like it just kind of hits you. Like you're like, oh, show's tomorrow, yeah, whatever. And then it gets 2 hours before the show, and then you start panicking and, you know, that type of thing. So I think it's not really going to hit me hard until tomorrow.
there are times where it's like very like stressful, but not to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, this is not going to work out. I can't do this. Stressful. It's like.
Sometimes we bring that stress on ourselves just because we're thinking the worst. And certainly you wouldn't be able to see tomorrow when the curtain comes up. You're not going to be able to see the faces of the people out there, are you?
For me, I will be, because I will be backstage. So, like, the light and sound crew, they will be able to see because they're just right in front of us right now. So, but, it's not that stressful for me because it's just really fun. But at the same time, it can be like people will get stressed out. But for me.
So you a 5?
I guess so.
Okay, so last question to put it all in perspective. A lot of synchronization goes into a production like this, and from the beginning to the end. And you guys have been practicing, I'm sure, for months, probably, right? In terms of the amount of work, how have you balanced this time commitment with your academic commitment?
Very carefully. It's really hard sometimes. Lots of homework, but there's lots of opportunities that you can do your homework during rehearsal, and when you can't do it during rehearsal, you just get home and you just do it.
It's kind of one of those things where you have to be responsible enough to advocate for yourself. Like on the times where you're not on stage, if you do have a lot of homework and you know it, you need to be doing it. Otherwise, you're just going to get overwhelmed and you're going to have to do it when you get home. And on things like Tech Week, where you're here till, 10, that's not really an option. You just have to be responsible and do your homework when you're off stage and anytime you really can.
There was some research not too long ago put out. This is not really related to dramatic arts, but let me ask this question. How many hours of sleep a night do you average?
6.
I'd say about 5 to 7.
6 or 7.
5 to 6.
Okay, now I thought kids slept 12 hours a day.
That's on the weekend.
Oh, that's on the weekends. Okay. 4 great representatives, Lincoln High School, Comedy of Errors, can be a wonderful production. You can tell by the young people that we've talked to, and of course their sponsors. They're ready. Go break a leg. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Sue Letheby, who represents the Illusion Theater, actually the project director of the Illusion Theater, and one of her students, Melissa. Sue, tell us, what kind of work do you do?
Well, this is one of the things that makes the Lincoln High School Theater Department so unique. Illusion Theater is a cooperative program between the Lincoln Public Schools and the Illusion Theater Company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're the only program of its kind in the nation. We meet as a double class period, 7th and 8th period, first semester. Students audition to be in it, and then once they're in, we learn shows about this next year we're focusing on bullying prevention again, and we go out into the schools and perform. And last semester, we hit a new record after 19 years. We did 60 performances in one semester and saw over 14,000 children. We've already got half of our calendar already booked for next year for schools that we couldn't fit in this past year. So it's still a really popular program. So
would those be predominantly Lincoln Public Schools?
Yep, the majority is Lincoln Public Schools, but we go to surrounding communities and smaller communities. They pay for our transportation and bring us down, and we'll do an all day and do the entire school district.
What a great experience. Melissa, so you participate in that. What drew you to this program?
My friend Nicole was in the program, and she told me about it, and she told me that I should go audition for it. And so I went, and it sounded really cool. You get to work a lot with kids, and I like working with kids. And I obviously like theater a lot. So just the two meshing together was really interesting to me.
Okay, we need to remember who you are, because you like working with kids. Maybe you become a teacher education major?
I've been thinking about it.
And you're what year in school?
I am a senior right now.
Okay. So why are the dramatic arts important?
Well, like we said, theater is a great way to entertain, but it's also a great way to educate. It's a wonderful vehicle where, we go out into the schools and our student actors perform vignettes, and then as the moderator, I talk with the audience about it. But it's a really great way for kids to learn, to process about, and like I said, our subject about bullying. They get a chance to rehearse, and they see these high school kids, which remind them of older brothers and sisters being these great role models up there. And we really think it makes a big impact.
With great messages that can change lives. How do you keep it all in balance?
Oh, keeping it all in balance, like school and this. Well, it takes place during the second periods of the day, so you're not missing any class time when you go out to do performances, and that's really nice. Keeping it so it doesn't actually go into like after school. You don't have to worry about not missing any homework time or anything.
Do you participate in any of the Lincoln High shows?
Most of them, yeah.
So how do you keep that in balance with your academics?
Basically, if you're not on stage, you're doing homework at home. You try to fit in a little bit of homework. Maybe sometimes I'm doing a worksheet or an essay while I'm eating some mac and cheese for dinner.
How many hours of sleep do you average a night?
I've been trying to get more sleep in because it feels nicer. So I've been trying to get at least like 6 to 8.
Not enough sleep for young people, I can say that. Sue, anything else you'd like to say?
I just want to say thank you to you and for the district for supporting Illusion Theater. Like I said, this fall will be our 20th year doing this program, and we could not have done it without the support of Lincoln High School, Dr. Wertman, the Lincoln High School Theater Department, our wonderful artistic director, Molly Thomas, who makes the shows so fresh and creative, and that's why we have schools that keep inviting us back year after year. So we're looking forward to hopefully another 20 years of Illusion Theater.
Well, so there you have it. Students and sponsors and folks like Sue that have taken it to a different level in terms of being able to put students together around concepts that make sense and presenting that not only to Lincoln Public Schools but in the area. The arts are alive and well in LPS, and as my wife and I have found, it's really become our date night. We use this as an opportunity to get out and see tremendously talented young people perform and have fun. And what we don't see, of course, and you wouldn't see from out there in the audience, is the amount of time and preparation and dedication. These are top performing academic students and top performing kids and citizens and really the future of society. So what a real treat to be here today, and now I think we're going to get an opportunity to see why I didn't major in dramatic arts.
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspects. I am not Adriana, nor thy wife. The time was once when thou unearthedst vow that never words were music to thine ears, that never object pleasing to thine eye, that never touch well welcome to thine hand, that never meat sweet savor to thy taste unless I spake or looked or touched or carved to thee. How comes it now, my husband, oh, how comes it that thou art thus estranged from thyself? Thyself, I call it, being strange to me, that undividable, incorporate, and better than thy dear self's better part. Do not tear thyself away from me, for know, my love, as easy mayst thou fall, a drop of water in the breaking gulf, and take unmingled thence that drop again without addition or diminishing, as take thyself from me and not me too. How dearly would it touch thee to the quick, shouldst thou but hear I were licentious, and that this body, consecrate to thee, by ruffian lust should be contaminate. Wouldst thou not spit at me, and spurn at me, and hurl the name of husband in my face, and tear the stained skin off my harlot brow, and from my false hand cut the wedding ring, and break it with a deep divorcing vow? I know thou canst, therefore see thou do it. I am possessed by an adulterate blot. My blood is mingled with the crime of lust. For if we two be one, and thou play false, I do digest the poison of thy flesh, being strumpeted by thy contagion. Keep then fair league and truce with thy true bed. I live disdained, thou undishonored.
plead you to me, fair dame? I know you not. In Ephesus I am but 2 hours old, as strange unto your town as to your talk, who every word by all my wit being scanned, want wit in all but one to understand.
Fie, brother, how the world has changed with you. When were you wont to use my sister thus? She sent for you to dinner by Dromio.
By Dromio?
By me?
By thee. In this thou didst return from him, that he did buffet thee, and in his blows denied my house for his, thee for his wife.
Did you converse, sir, with this gentle woman? What is the course and drift of your compact?
Aye, sir, I never saw her till this time.
Villain, thou liest, for even her very words didst thou deliver to me on the mart.
I never spake with her in all my life.
How can she thus then call us by our names? Unless it be by inspiration.
How ill agrees it with your gravity to counterfeit thus grossly with your slave, abating him to thwart me in my mood. Be it my wrong, you are from me exempt, but wrong not that wrong with a more contempt. Come, I'll fasten on the sleeve of thine. Thou art an elm, my husband, I a vine, whose weakness, married to thy stronger state, makes me with the strength to communicate. If aught possess thee from me, it is dross, usurping ivy, briar, idle moss, who all, for want of pruning, with intrusion, infect thy sap, and live on thy confusion.
To me she speaks, she moves me for her theme. What, was I married to her in my dream? Or sleep I now and think I hear all this? What error drives our eyes and ears amiss? Until I know this sure uncertainty, I'll entertain the offered fallacy.
Dromio, go bid the servants spread for dinner.
Oh, for my beads, I cross me for a sinner. This is the fairyland, oh spite of spites. We talk with goblins, owls, and sprites. If we obey them not, this will ensure they'll suck our breath or pinch us black and blue.
Why prayest thou to thyself and answer not? Dromio, thou snail, thou slug, thou sot.
I am transformed, master, am I not?
I think thou art in mind, and so am I.
Nay, master, both in mind and in my shape.
Thou hast thine own form.
No, I am an ape.
If thou art changed to aught, 'tis to an ass.
'Tis true, she rides me, and I long for grass. 'Tis so, I am an ass, else it could be never be. But I should know her as well as she knows me.
Come, come, no longer will I be a fool, to put the finger in the eye and weep, while man and master laugh my woes to scorn. Come, sir, to dinner. Dromio, keep the gate. Husband, I will dine above with you today and shrive you of 1,000 idle pranks. Sirrah, if any ask for your master, say he dines forth, and let none enter. Come, sister. Dromio, play the porter well.
Am I in earth, in heaven, or in hell? Sleeping or walking, mad or well advised, known unto these and to myself disguised. I'll say as they say and persevere so, and in the midst at all adventures go.
Master, shall I be porter at the gate?
Aye, and let none enter, lest I break your pate.
Come, come, and to bliss we dine too late.
You know, whenever you come to one of these great productions, you have an opportunity to see the performers on stage, and you just feel really good about the work that they do. They're entertaining, they're humorous, they're engaging. It's just 2.5 or 3 hours of just fun entertainment. Oftentimes what we don't see is what happens behind the curtain. So with us now is Ben Koch, who's the theater tech at Lincoln High. And Ben, tell us a little about the work that you do.
I facilitate the needs of Lincoln High School, whether it be set construction for our various play productions, music concerts, band concerts, orchestra. any rental that comes through the theater. So if it's going on in here, I'm here.
You know, anybody that walks up in one of these control rooms realizes that, you know, we're not in the 1970s anymore. You know, you had to take a couple classes on that, I'm sure.
I actually, I have a degree from the university. It's actually not in theater. I have a degree from the engineering college, a construction management degree. But I grew up in the theater and have lots of firsthand experience doing it as opposed to education.
So these sets that are elaborate and really neat that we see, I mean, do you build them from scratch, or do they send you like a kit that you just assemble?
No kit. It's designed. We design it. We figure out what will work on stage, what's going to work with the number of people so that we can block. We construct, we paint. And then after every show, we strike it basically down to the raw materials, the lumber, unless it's something that we foresee that we're going to use in the near future to save some labor. Then we store it down in the basement.
What do you like best about the work that you do?
It's fun working with kids. I like working with kids. You get to work with different people every single day. You get to work with a bunch of different departments. The job is flexible, but very, very demanding when it's demanding, which I like. And it's a fast-paced. You're not sitting at a desk looking at a clock. You're just go, 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 go. Makes the time go fast, and it's very, very rewarding working with the kids.
So when you were young, did you like Shakespeare?
Did I like Shakespeare? Probably not. You know, would I have liked building a set for Shakespeare? Once upon a time, maybe so. But who I am now, I'd much rather be backstage doing the stuff beforehand. Out of the spotlight.
You know, the sword fights were always my favorite part of that. Well, there you have it. Great show from Lincoln High Theatric Arts, and just a wonderful opportunity for our kids to express themselves in ways that sometimes you don't get to do in the 7-hour academic day that they typically have, and just wonderful professionals here that work with kids and guide them, and you heard them say it. That's where they get their energy from. They get it from our kids. So thank you to all and to that are watching this today, and until next month, we'll sign off from Lincoln High, the Ted Sorensen Theater.
This has been a presentation of Lincoln Public Schools. A monthly programming guide may be found at www.lps.org.